Cypher here, and as you might be able to tell, I'm in the middle of moving. So, I'm going to be taking a few weeks off from the channel, so you're not going to see anything on here, but I thought that I would do this as kind of a cover. I've had a lot of questions, and the channel has blown up. At the time of checking, the channel has over 21,000 subscribers, and about a month ago, it was about 8,000. So to everyone who's joined, and everyone who's been around for a long time, thank you. So I'm hoping to continue with production and everything, but I've got some huge changes in my life that are going to make it kind of hard. And I figured I would let you guys in on the backstory, since I get a lot of questions on the channel about my background and whatnot, and who I am. Now, I do use a pseudonym for a reason, both academically and familially, though I'm sure most of you can put things together. So I'm going to continue using my pseudonym, Cypher, as you well know. So, a bit about the real me, not just Cypher. You guys have probably gotten bits and pieces about me from videos and that, but I do try to keep my real identity separate from Cypher's. So, where to begin? Probably the army. That's one I've gotten a lot of questions about. A lot of people ask me, when did I serve? I joined when I was 17 back in 2005, that probably dates me a little bit, and served for 6 years, all the way into 2011. From 2009 to 2010, I was in Afghanistan, and I started in the army as a tanker and ended up becoming a scout halfway through. So go cavalry. Now the reason why I joined is the same reason that I actually make this channel. It was to go to school. It was to pay for school. I didn't actually start off as a history major, I started off in architecture of all things, and ended up changing to history, mostly because I've kind of been reared in it. My father's a historian himself, and my mother's a sociologist. So I got my bachelor's, and then I was unemployed for a little bit, and so I ended up creating this channel. Funny enough, it was actually on a dare. I had been complaining about there being no good history channels like SciShow on YouTube, you know, like a history SciShow, and my friend just said, well, why don't you do it? And then I guess I tried. Probably didn't go very well at first, but I think it's shaping up pretty well. I couldn't really call myself a historian back then, so I didn't. I called the channel initially Cynical Cipher 88, but then I went to graduate school and got my MA. So I started calling myself the Cynical Historian. And I think partially because of you guys liking the channel and subscribing and all that, you've made this thing a success, and I've managed to get into a PhD program. In fact, that's why I'm moving. I'm going to be going to PhD school. But that also means that I'm going to be working pretty hard there, and I might not be able to put out as many videos as I do now. But what I am hoping to do with this move is, you know, have a bit better of a background and maybe even get a better camera. You might notice a significant downgrade in quality on this camera. It's because I'm using my webcam, and normally I use a GoPro Hero 3. Not a particularly good camera to begin with, at least in terms of doing this. And that brings me to the final thing I want to say. I'm going to be starting up a Patreon. I haven't gotten it set up yet, but hopefully I will, and I will let you guys know as soon as I do, because I want to make this thing a lot better quality, be able to go out on location, or, you know, sacrifice doing a regular job for this, but especially to be able to get that new camera, because this setup is not exactly ideal. So I'm trying to come up with ideas in terms of a thank you video and all of that for new Patreons. What I've come up with thus far is to just be more detailed about my background and do that as a thank you video, and have thank yous built into the episodes where I'll actually like put your name in that on like a end credit thing, and maybe even like auction off topics like what movie will I review next. So I'm thinking about it. I don't really know. I'm sure I'll make like an announcement video or something along those lines in order to set up the actual campaign. But I'm quite open to suggestions, because it is you guys who make this channel happen. And if you couldn't tell from looking at my backlog and that, I'm not exactly an expert when it comes to videography and building social media and all that kind of stuff. I studied history, so my mind's more in the 19th century than the 21st. And this whole thing's a one-man operation. So yeah, that is me in a nutshell and some channel announcements. Let me know in the comments if you guys have any suggestions on setting up that Patreon. I am kinda dumb when it comes to this stuff. And I hope to see you guys in a new episode coming out hopefully in a few weeks. I'll see you then.